Good evening. Welcome. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, PTP, people to people, power to power, positive thing to people. God is good. I'm telling you, I'm so excited, like always, when I have a special guest on the show. My guest today is Harold Harris. I'm just excited. We labeled this title today, Celebration of Life. Celebration of Life.
Celebration of life.
So you know, a lot of times what happens, I'll pray over something, or I'll just see what God has set forth for me to do, and then I'll go forward and I just follow what He has set out there for me. Well, what happened was I happened to be reading something that Harold had posted, and it was so selfless. It was so it just pulled me in, and immediately I was trying to think of what I needed to do, and God said, call Harold and invite him on the show. So I am so glad that you came. I appreciate you so much. You know. So first of all, what I'd like people to know is just a little bit about you. What is it that you do personally? You know, as far as your.
Well, I teach tennis.
Okay.
I've been teaching tennis over 30 years.
Okay.
I'm also I'm a peer support specialist in Fairfax County.
Okay.
And peer support specialist is basically a person with lived recovery experience that their primary purpose is to advocate for a person that's struggling.
Okay.
And you advocate through different programs. You direct them to different programs, treatment centers, that type of thing. And you're there to listen. It's a non-judgment. So with peer specialists, a lot of individuals, they sort of, you've been through something. Mm-hmm. So they kind of attach, they're more open for conversation. Whereas with clinicians, they're probing and they're asking questions and they see a clinician as someone up, and so with the peer specialist, they're looking eye to eye at the person. So it's like you're my peer.
Right. So it's a one-on-one.
Absolutely.
To a point where it's not about judging.
Right.
That's amazing. It's many people that are struggling with different things and they don't know how to deal with it, and a lot of people feel like they're alone. But we would also call you like a counselor, right?
Nah, I mean just a peer. I don't want to be called a counselor. I'm going back to school to become a counselor.
Okay.
But right now I'm a peer specialist. And like I said, I want my peer or whoever's struggling to look at me as someone that's going through the same thing they're going through.
I like that. I mean, it's almost okay. We get eye level, so I'm not looking down at you or up at you or nothing. We right here.
Absolutely.
And so that's saying that I see you and I feel you. Absolutely. So I understand where you're going.
Right.
So do you find yourself a lot of times when you're talking to individuals that you see yourself in them, that helps you to be able to relate to them?
Oh, absolutely. All the time. I mean, I struggle with the same thing they struggle with.
Okay.
I when an individual come to me and they talk about their struggles, I relate to them.
Okay.
If they use, a lot of individuals have used and they've hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm. Hitting rock bottom is dangerous if you don't know how to recover from that.
Right.
And that a lot of times I think that's what happened when we was talking about that a little earlier. So hitting rock bottom is not the same for everybody.
No, it's not. My bottom was when I went to jail. That was my bottom. When I saw Alexandria jail for 6 months, I said, I can't do this more.
Yeah.
And it took that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the denial was so strong,
mm-hmm.
I didn't think I had a problem.
Yeah.
I was one of those cats that went to work. I thought, I could put the clothes on.
And cover it up.
I can cover it up. They call us dressed up garbage cans. And so I did that for a long time. And I was still, when I got arrested right in front of my aunt's house off of Madison Street, I was still talking about what's going on. That's how much denial I was in.
Man. So being that you said that, so that's when you felt like I have to take care of her.
Right.
And then you got that wake-up call.
Absolutely.
So at that point, was it about getting help, or were you looking to help yourself?
It was both.
Okay.
You know, I realized, you know, that I couldn't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people that came in and, you know, people that came in and started talking about their stories, and I identified.
Right.
And so when I started identifying with folks, that's when the help started happening.
Right.
At first I was identifying out. You know, I wasn't like him.
Oh,
You know,
I'm different.
I'm different.
Yeah. That's a lot of times people have problems that they think because they are functioning, whatever you want to call it. Because people have addictions to everything.
Right.
Okay. I don't like using the word addict, so I don't really use it.
Right.
But I do know about addiction. And so a lot of people have different addictions, but they don't want to acknowledge it. But then when you do hit rock bottom, and you be, and that prime example, I was going through a rough time, and this was back in 2010. Some personal things were going on in my life that really devastated me. And the depression had locked me down so bad that for about 2 or 3 days, I just didn't want to wake. I didn't want to see the sunshine or nothing. And but then I realized that I was at rock bottom as well. And what I had to do was I had to make a choice. It wasn't a choice for everyone else. It had to be the choice for me.
Absolutely.
And so what I want to say to all those that's out there, please know this, that if you're struggling with something and it's something that you got to identify and acknowledge it, first of all, acknowledge it to yourself. Do that and go to God. I always put God first in everything. I pray God. I'm a true believer in prayer, and I believe that, you know, when I ask God, somebody told me one time, so you're not afraid? I said, no, I'm not afraid when I pray over it.
Right.
Once I acknowledge it and say, Father God, I ask you, I drop it in your hands, then all of a sudden he'll put it in my hand and say, well, then get up. I get up. He said, wash your hands. I wash my hands. Put on a nice shirt. I put on a nice shirt. You know, you come from a well-dressed family anyway.
Right.
Your brothers, your late brother, Lenny Harris, that we send much love and respect to your family. He was a serious mentor and an advocate in the community. And one of the things that I used to see, you was always clean. You was always clean. Your older brother too. Y'all had that thing about dressing.
Right.
So y'all was covered up a lot.
I was covered up a lot. You know, when you mention my brother, every time anybody mention my brother, you know, he was the reason that when you asked me, he was the reason that I came, because at first the noise in your head to say, you know, what you gonna say?
Yeah, come on.
Are you good enough?
Come on.
Are you gonna have a message at home?
Right.
Are you gonna reach someone?
Right.
You know, all the noise goes in my head.
Yeah.
But then I heard, you know, the voice of God, and I heard my brother say, boy, go over Rodney's house. And you're not doing nothing but conversating.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so I was relieved.
And when I called you and I was waiting, I was like, man, I hope that he'd decide to come. You know, many things went through my head, and so, you know, I believe that there's life after death. I believe that we have our angels around us and people that be right there to protect us and help us to make the right decisions. And so many of us, I always tell them it's a shell that we learn to love so well, but we have to understand that the spirit don't go anywhere. It's always there. So, you know, I can say that with all due respect to your family and everything, Lenny Harris has always motivated many people, and he is so much missed. So, but getting back to, we talking about people who may have hit rock bottom. So if it was a person right now, or say I'm the person you was talking to me, what would be your first approach to me to tell me, say, Rodney, it's going to be okay?
That's exactly what I would tell you. It's going to be okay. And I'm here to walk with you until you're okay to walk for yourself.
How about that?
So I'm going to love you until you learn how to love yourself.
Come on now.
You know, and that's easy for me.
Yeah.
Because the foundation was built.
Right.
My mother and father were people that loved.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't have to go out in the streets to get that.
Right.
That was instilled in me at home.
Okay.
So that never leaves.
Right.
You know, so once I got myself together, you know, that became natural for me.
Right.
Is to help others.
Yeah. And like you said, you have to get to that point where you have to learn to love yourself.
Right.
See, because you can't love nobody else if you can't love yourself.
Absolutely.
Half of the times, most of the people that abuse themselves in whichever way they do, they're actually, I find them the somewhat, I say they're mad at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because why do you want to do something that's going to damage your thinking and take you out of character and have you where you're not doing the right things, you know, and do it on purpose?
Right.
So, I don't have no shame in my game. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, positive people. I keep it real. I had to go to see a psychiatrist 3-4 times. When I came home from the Marine Corps, I was tripping. Bro, they had me thinking some wild stuff, and a lot of people didn't know I was going through a lot trying to readjust. And so many times when things would come really, really down on me hard, I would have to go seek and get see a psychiatrist. And one of my psychiatrists then taught me to face the fact that I'm my biggest enemy. You worried about everybody else, but take that time to get to know you and understand what you got to do to take care of you. Learn to love yourself. And that's what I would tell anybody, and anybody who's out there. I'm sure that's what you share.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, the word come to mind, implicit biases. And subconsciously, I have this bias about who I am.
Okay.
And so, if I have that bias about who I am, I'm automatically thinking that you have that same bias.
Okay.
So, I was not comfortable in my skin.
Okay.
I was not comfortable with who I was. And so, my expectations, that affected my self-esteem.
Okay.
And I spent a lot of years trying to make you either accept me or like me. And finally, a light bulb hit.
It don't matter.
It don't even matter.
Come on.
And God,
I like that. I like
God, God came, into my life, and it's like, you all right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you think or what you say. I'm not that type of guy that, no, I don't care what you say. Yeah, I care.
Yeah.
But all I want is respect.
Right.
If I give you respect, I expect you to give it the same.
How about that?
And if you can't do that, then,
teach his own.
to each his own.
My wife's late grandmother, grandmother Sinclair, she would always say, you can't be nice to everybody because they sometimes just won't let you. And when they don't let you, I just remove myself.
That's right.
That's what she said. And I was so tickled. She said, everybody is not going to receive you.
Right.
But I like what you were saying when you were saying that it got to a point, and when you realized that it wasn't about you worrying about what they're thinking about you, you got to worry about her.
Right.
See, you got to love her.
Mm-hmm.
And see, people that's out there struggling with addictions, I'm talking, when I say addiction, we ain't just talking about drugs.
No.
We talking about all kind of addictions. Food, cigarettes,
Gambling.
Hey, and you don't know how many people got that bad. Come on now. We talking abuse. We talking and a lot of the addictions that you're harming yourself. And people don't know how to regroup from that. But what you have to do, you have to put yourself in a position where you say, you know what, I'm going to be okay.
Right.
And that's what we have to first do, and learn to love yourself. Put yourself in a position where you know that you're not the only one. There's somebody out there today that God said, he sent this message for us to do this, to talk about the celebration of life.
And when you say celebration, I was thinking about how I love celebrating other people. I celebrate you.
Okay.
What you're doing. I celebrate you and your wife, what you're doing.
Right.
I celebrate people that graduate from school. I celebrate people that are trying to achieve something.
Right.
I continue to celebrate because if you can do it, then you give me the energy to say I can do it.
Yes.
So the spirit of envy and jealousy, I don't have room for that in my life.
Right.
And I love to be around people that motivate each other.
Yes. That's me. I'm like that. I feel like I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper.
Right.
I say that a lot of times. We're going to pause for a minute, and we want to welcome some people.
We got quite a few people to welcome. Maria Price, Gerald McCoy.
Hey Gerald, how you doing?
Maria.
And Maria, mwah, love you,
What's
baby.
happening?
Regina Young,
Hey, Regina.
Troy and Desi.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Hey, Anthony Shug Sr., Bernadette Felton,
Hey, cousin.
Uh-oh.
Shauna Foster,
Hey, Shauna.
Rachel Pope,
Rachel, the queen.
Deborah Elliott,
Hey.
Stephanie Mann,
Stephanie.
Hey,
huh?
Stephanie.
How you doing, love?
Ted Price. Is that Sharon Kinlow or Sharon? Sharon Kinlow, Crystal Bell Moore,
Welcome.
Lisa Lucas, Bernard Jackson, Frank Mosley, Kim Snyder, Randall Phillips,
Right.
Jerry Blake, April Clark, Sheila Graham,
Hey, April. Hey, Sheila.
April Clark, Kelly Missy Carter, Nina Ferguson,
Hey, Nina.
Kimberly Wilson Lynch,
Hey, Kim.
Hey,
love
Kim.
you, baby.
Vanessa Pendergrass, Derek Smith, Tamika Green, Shug Britches, Richard Hughes, and I think I had said Stephanie
Stephanie
Mans. I think I had said it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I welcome everyone. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, positive people. Know that people to people are you, me, and them. Them can be anybody. The power that they possess, the power we possess. But the power we pull together when we doing things positive that cause us to become positive thinking people. I am so honored today that I have Harris from Alexandria, Virginia.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Hey, this, you know, so am I. And this has been a blessing because one of the things that God has put in my heart and spirit is to make sure that we can have people that we can relate to come on so that we can know that we're not alone. Okay. What's that? Sheila Graham. She says, share her. You know you are motivator.
I think she was saying sure, Harold. You know, I mean, know you. All right, motivator.
Oh,
For
okay.
people.
So right. And so sometimes again when people they'll type something in there, it'll come out a little
Right.
little awkward.
Sometimes
But
they
what
type
she,
into
basically
that.
what she was saying was you're a motivator. So and I can say that too. I think that in many cases you motivated a lot of people because people have seen you go through your struggles and then they see where you are today. We got Gerald McCoy. I'm going to be okay. Hey, we already know you okay.
Absolutely.
We claimed that the other day when we prayed. We don't claim something and then go back and worry about it. We already deal with it and receive it. My brother Troy, how you doing, my brother? How you doing? Peace and blessings to you. I am so excited. Who is that? That's Knox Goldie. How you doing? Welcome. This is Real Talk Live, and my guest is Harold Harris, and we are talking about celebrating life.
Absolutely.
So, how do you define celebrating life?
Well, I try to live my best life.
Okay.
And how I do that is I take care of myself.
Okay.
You know, sleep. I get proper amount of sleep. I sleep like 7 to 9 hours. I go to bed early. I'm earlier.
Okay.
I read a lot.
Okay.
You know, I exercise. You know, anybody that know me, they know tennis is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You're a tennis coach.
I'm been teaching tennis over 30 years.
Oh my God.
And it's tennis has literally saved my life.
Oh man. So how would you say that? What is it because it's something that you poured your life into and
Well, the times I've gone through like depression or I've gone through hard times, I go in a tennis court, you know, and I forget about everything.
Okay.
And I'm pounding that ball. In fact, I used to work at this company, and the backstabbing and it was real cruddy there.
Okay.
You know, but everybody was surviving.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do, I would go in the room, you know, I would go in my office and call some people and talk about it. Then I would go on the tennis court and I would beat them up on the tennis court.
You hit them every time that when the ball come over, you put a name on it.
I put the name on it.
Yeah, when you hit it, you knock it clean on out and try
Absolutely.
to knock it right out of your thoughts.
And so that was a release for me. Still is.
Yeah.
You know, I had been working for an elementary association, and I'm a shout out to elementary school principals. When I think of implicit biases, I think about what I thought about a school principal. Because I stayed in the school principal office for a long time. It got my hair tan, you know. But I worked for them for 22 years. And when I lost the job, you know, I was so angry in the beginning. And then, because I had been around positive people, and I've seen what other people did when they lost their job,
Right.
I didn't get stuck.
Come on now.
So I prayed a lot, and then I went into something that I already had in me. I started teaching tennis for a living.
Something you love doing.
Something I love doing.
Wouldn't that be something that you would suggest to people who are struggling? That's the other thing that I would tell people to utilize right now in this time is to find something you love to do. I don't care if it's reading, cooking, dancing, something you love to do, and do it with passion. And then, believe it or not, when you find somebody else who loves to do the same thing, it makes it so much easier. And it helps them to realize that when you just conversate, you know, I remember having this conversation with a young lady, very, very good friend of mine, Liz Ashton. And she said, you know, Rodney, sometimes when you talk about your problems to somebody else, and then they start to share their problem with you, you be like, whoa. You realize that their problem, man, make yours be like this small.
Absolutely.
But then in that time, you got to find out how do you deal with that? What is it that carried you to that point that you're able to turn around? So again, I want to take the time to let you know that this is my guest, Harold Harris from Alexandria, Virginia. I forgot what he called it, but he said he's not a counselor, but he said
Peer support specialist.
A peer support specialist. I say people to people, power to power, positive with people so much. Any other thing that I start to say with a P start to go all kind of crazy, but he's a peer support specialist.
Right.
And he was explaining that when you are helping people, which you like to do, you allow them to feel like they're right here with you and they're not alone. And that's important for everybody to know. You're not by yourself. You're not by yourself in anything that you're dealing with. Know that there's somebody out there that's gone through the same thing that you're dealing with.
And Rodney, I'm telling you, the ego and false pride
Okay.
will kill you.
Come on now.
You know, when I was out there, you know, the ego, man, that's for weak folks.
Come on.
People,
There you go.
You know, people are weak that admit that they're on drugs.
Yeah.
They succumb to something that is just taking over their life. I wasn't gonna admit to that. You know, I was like, when I know my brother in the beginning, he had like 3 years sober before I even thought about it. He would come talk to me about this wonderful thing he was doing. I was like, man, I don't want to hear that stuff. Give me $20.
I don't have no problem.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Yeah.
You know, so first you gotta admit it.
Come on. Okay.
And that's anything.
Yeah.
That's anything.
Yeah. Anything.
You know, can't nobody do that for you.
You have to do it for
You
yourself.
have to do it for yourself. And so, with the stigma of addiction, any kind of addiction, the family, you know, you want support. You really want support.
Yes.
You don't know how to ask for it,
Right.
but you really need to have support of your family and your friends.
Yes.
And this is not a time for friends and family, because we all do it. We like to sit around and gossip sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but this is not a time for that.
Come on now.
You know, this is a time to try to embrace that individual and say, I got you.
And let them know that they're not alone.
And let them know they're not alone.
Sheila Graham. Hello, beautiful people. I was saying to Harold to share his experience in life, his strengths, and hope for life. You have a spirit that touch others. Oh, you might not have that title, but you believe it.
Believe it.
But believe it. You are a counselor.
I love you, Sheila, and thank you for that.
That is well, Sheila. You know something? Sometimes what happens is people won't try to claim a title because what they do from their heart. So of course I've known you all my life pretty much, and I've always known you to be a gentleman, always polite, never showing off and saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. You've never been that type of guy. You've always been a guy that I felt like, even if I don't think I ever did, but I always felt that if I needed to, I could ask you for $1 or a quarter and get it, or a ride, or whatever the case may be. Because I never felt that kind of spirit with you. So, but for you to be doing what you're doing today is not out of your character.
No.
That's people know you, and so that's a good thing. So, and I'm sure that you got a lot of that from your parents.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people in your family like that. Always giving.
I'm telling you, Rodney, when I think about my parents, I think about my dad.
Okay.
A lot. And my mom had passed when I was about 11 years old when my mom had passed. And my dad, he was a strong provider.
Right.
And it was all about principles.
Okay.
You know, it was, if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Come on.
He always instilled that in us. You know, he instilled paying the bills on time. You know, so a lot of stuff I picked up from my parents. You know, and I lost that. You know, but I don't like I don't like to keep dipping back, because I don't want you or anybody to stay in my past, because I don't stay there.
Come on now.
You know, and a lot of times with folks who deal with certain issues, you know, people will beat them up about their past.
Come on.
I mean, leave that stuff alone.
Come on. I like that. I love it. I
I
love it.
mean, let people live.
Yes.
You know, and that's a pet peeve of mine.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because guess what? I struggle with that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of people that see me doing this show, and they want to go back to my past. They want to talk about what I did.
Yeah.
I'm a God-fearing man now, today.
Absolutely.
I'm a married man today. I'm a man that believes that I am my brother's keeper today. I don't, you know what? I don't forget about my past,
Right.
but I don't live in the past.
Right.
So I like that. And a lot of people, if you want to move forward, that's what you got to do. One of my very, very good friends, Joe Coleman, one of the original Platters, he's a very good friend of mine. He always say, you know, Rodney, if you're going to move forward, you got to let go of some of that bad luggage.
Mm-hmm.
Let that bad luggage that you got, let it go. And when he used to say that to me, I didn't really know what he meant until I sat down and really thought about it.
Right.
Leave the past in the past. You know, I'll tell a person said, man, they said, well, I used to be an addict. I said, well, you said used to be, so don't talk about being an addict to me, because you're not an addict to me. I used to be an abuser. Well, if you used to be an abuser, then don't talk about that. Let's talk about what you do now.
Right.
Because what we do, and we live it today.
Absolutely.
And that's what people have to realize in your struggle. Let what's happened in the past be the past. My father was you talked about your father. I'm bringing up a little bit. You can identify the past, but get in the future and keep moving forward. So I remember, you know, many times I tried to let people know that I came up and my father was really abusive, and some things was going on in our household. And I used to didn't know how to deal with it. So now what I do, I can smile when I say it, because I don't live in that past of that bad feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in the future of knowing that I'm a good father, and the things that I do to help people. So if somebody right now, and you was just to come to them and I'm saying they struggling with what's going on with this COVID virus, this COVID-19, what would you tell them? How would you tell them to deal with that?
I would tell them, stay 6 feet away from people, keep a mask, wash your hands. You know, I'm a fanatic. I try to clean off everything in your house every morning, every evening. You know, I probably in the beginning I was a little obsessive. You know, I was washing my hands so much they were raw. You know, so it's like, okay, I say calm it down, Earl. But just follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
I mean, keep it simple.
You see what's at the door right there? Is the hand sanitizer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what we got the cans of Lysol. Let me tell you something now. You talking about something, me and my wife, I'm very, very adamant about it. We spray everything down, we wipe everything down. We do this on a regular. That's one of the reasons why we do feel comfortable. We don't just let anybody in the house. Anybody that we think is not being conscious of how they conduct themselves, then you know that I'll tell them in a minute.
Yeah, I can't be able to.
And if you look over there, I got them all hanging at the door when I go out and grab them. And I believe that we have about at least 10 a peace.
Right.
And but one of the things that everybody have to know is that you have to also continue to live.
Yeah.
Don't live in fear. Just don't be stupid. You know, you know something. I still like my mom. My mom is 89 years old, and so I have to go over there and do certain things. But what I don't do, and I love my mother, man, but I don't lean on her. I don't kiss on her or nothing like that. Now, if it wasn't for this, I would, but I don't do that. And that's just me. I go in there and feed her, bring her things, and make sure, you know, do what I do along with my sister and my other siblings and nieces and nephews or whatever. But I keep my distance. Now, where I'm at today is that I just constantly say this. I know that once I pray over something, I know God's going to work it out. And that this is going to work out too. This too shall pass.
Absolutely.
But I believe that we're in a time that we're supposed to start to recognize. Celebrate life. Let's celebrate life.
Absolutely.
Let's not get to a point where we're going to be feeling real bad about everything going on around us. Get to a point where you're going to make change in your life. Change the things that you can change, and the things that you can't, then don't worry about it. Keep it moving. Life equals living in faith every day. Life equals living in faith every day. I like that, Troy. Bernadette, having a support system that's genuine and non-judgmental is so necessary, and cause your support system is super dope.
I love you, baby.
Hey, I know that. I know that's right. Your past doesn't define your future. Everyone has a story. Be in it. Be it good, bad, or indifference. How about that? Let me say that again. Your past does not define your future. Everyone has a story. Be it good, bad, or indifference. And that's really true. Bernadette, you know something? That's what I try to tell a lot of people when they looking at me. I say, don't worry about my story. You know, understand you have a story too.
Absolutely.
And you know something? Your story, if you share it, can help somebody. That's why I appreciate that you decided to come on. See, I'm getting ready. This is real talk, so we don't practice nothing, so he don't know what I'm getting ready to say. But he was nervous and talking about, man, I don't know what I'm going to say and how I'm going to handle this. And I told him, I said, just be yourself. He said, man, I ain't, you know, this ain't what I normally do, not like this.
Right.
But you see, ain't nothing to it.
No.
Just being who you are.
Absolutely.
And believe this, I could guarantee you that you're going to be a blessing to somebody today. That you took this time to come out and just say, hey, yo, believe in yourself. Celebrate life. That's what we're doing, celebrating life. I see my brother Malik Blandon is in there. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? Much love and respect. Sonia, how you doing?
Sonia,
Wendy, how you doing? Steve Nelson. And I don't know if I had welcomed my brother Troy in earlier. And what's that? Lauren Williams. Michael, that's Michael Johnson there. He got Michael Evans. Donna Young.
That's my baby. Hey, Donna.
What's that? Tamika Green.
Tamika, that's another one of my babies.
Okay. Yeah, so, hey, we welcome you. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Brown's People, Power, Positive People. My guest today is Harold Harris from Alexandria, Virginia. This gentleman is just, he's an amazing young man. And I say young because we are young still.
Yes.
And we still got a lot more good things ahead of us as we move forward. And what we doing? We celebrating life.
And you know, Rodney, I tell you, one of my dreams, and sometimes they say you shouldn't talk about your dreams, but one of my dreams is to have a tennis academy. And in that tennis academy, I want to be able to teach young black kids, you know, and because I'm gonna tell you, tennis did a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
It taught me how to lose.
Okay.
You know, I'm real competitive.
Okay.
You know, so if I start something, I go after it. You know, and so it taught me, you know, how to communicate with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all types of people.
Okay.
Because tennis sort of, you know, international sports. So I met
Right.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
And but I really want to have an academy. And I've been teaching in Alexandria, but it's through the recreation department. And I don't have, at this time, I don't have the power or the ability to have my own academy. But if I had my own academy, which I'm going to have,
Right. You claim it.
I want to teach young black kids, because I tell you, this sport is a lifetime sport. I started playing, and I'll be 60 in February. Man.
And how old were you first?
I started playing when I was, I think I was 10.
Okay.
And I just started, me and a couple of,
Did you ever play my late cousin Michael Shep?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was Top Spin King.
Come on now.
Oh, yeah. Michael started it off.
Right. I remember, actually, if I remember, y'all used to be down on a tennis court down there by Jefferson Village.
Absolutely. Michael, his cousin Bruce.
Yep.
This guy named Barrington Blake.
Okay.
This guy named Ken Roberts, the lefty. And see, these guys, it's always a story I always tell. These guys wouldn't let me play with them at first. I wasn't good enough. And tennis, we're real cordial.
Okay.
We got real shady.
Yeah. So if you feel like your game ain't like that, you ain't getting on there.
You're not getting on the court with me. So when they did that, I was like, man, I am going to, I'm gonna play these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I got on the wall every day, and I was just playing on the wall, and finally, about 2 years later, they let me play. So once I beat one of them, that was it.
That's it. What's that? Donna Young. She said hi, Harold. And that's April B. Clark. Okay. Y'all got. I'm. In a couple of weeks, y'all gonna see me and my wife. We went and got some new glasses, and I had one of my problems is the doctor now he explained to me what my problem is these are long distance.
Okay.
Okay. But he giving me bifocals. Now I take my glasses off, my eyes shuts down. So I've been going through this. He asked me, said, when the last time did you get eye exam? I said about 2 years ago. He said, you're not a young chicken anymore. So what you need to do is you need to do this on the regular. So I just said that to say when I look at this, sometimes from the angle it gets a little blurry.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to do it with again with a morning. Harold, I believe you have transformed your life because someone loved you. I mean that deep, abiding love until you could love yourself. And most of all, someone prayed for you. Someone initiated that light in you to shine. And now you are the light for others to shine. I love you, brother. I am my brother's keeper. Come on now.
I love you, April.
I like that, April. I like that, April. I like that Brenda is saying good afternoon to you as well.
Hey,
Brenda is from South Carolina.
Okay.
We have quite a few people that come in from different areas, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, and we send peace and blessings to all of the individuals who join in.
Thank you.
And so, again, you want to take opportunity to welcome
Okay, I'll push a few more on. Trisha Jackson, is it Trish Jackson? Margot Carter, Jean C. McBride,
Welcome.
Deion Sellers, Dejan,
Hey.
April Clark, Donna Young, Kendra Belk,
D.Y.
Mark Durrett, and Natalie Preston.
We welcome you. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people.
Thank y'all for showing up.
How about that?
Yeah.
My guest today is Harold Harris from Alexandria, Virginia. We are talking about celebrating life. And when we use that terminology, we was talking about some of the things that, we had a past, but where are we today? We living. And we making the positive changes.
And see, one thing about making change is that they're constant.
Okay.
I may learn something. Our perspectives are totally different about certain things.
Okay.
And my perspective, I don't have to beat anybody up with my perspective. Your perspective is your perspective.
Okay.
And so once I start understanding that, then we can coexist even better because I'm not beating you up for what you think.
Right.
And you're not beating me up for what I think. So we're understanding each other.
Yes.
You know, and it's a lot of times you don't have to, we say you can understand without being understood.
Okay.
You know, it's, that's a big thing that I've learned over the last 3 or 4 years is respecting people's perspective.
And just accepting people for who they are.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to, we had several people now I have some phobias, right? So I picked up some weight in my stomach, right? So you'll constantly, and I bring this because you'll constantly see me pulling my shirt, right? So, but a lot of people won't let that go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see some people and the first thing they'll say, damn, Rodney, man, you done got a little stomach on you. Because they weren't used to seeing me like that. But I don't want to tell them, well, damn, you done picked up all...
Tell them.
That's what I want to tell them. You done picked up a few yourself. Yeah. But I be looking at me saying, people, we got to get to a point, just let people be who they are. Yeah. Because we don't know people's struggle. Yeah. And and what it is right now, believe it or not, I'm just blessed that I'm alive and I'm able to wake up and still show a smile and be a blessing to somebody. I can't wear, I ain't gonna tell you no lie, I still do. I walk around, I got me one of them vests I put on. And sometimes I have to tell the wife, say, can you help me zip it up? I be in there trying to take a deep breath and zipping it up and everything. But you know something?
And I'm laughing, but I'm laughing with you. Because anybody know me, I got phobia about my weight too, right? Because I've always been a chubby boy. All my life, they used to call me fat boy.
And so now you slim.
No, still not slim, not the way I want to be. But that phobia, man, man, every time, like when this pandemic started, I was sitting home and I was just like, I gave myself a pass to eat.
Come on now, me too.
But when I got on the tennis court, it felt like I was carrying 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I just recently lost about 5.
Okay.
But I still got in my mind, I still got about 10 to go.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me and the wife, we talk about it all the time. I'm always trying to tell them, say, look, we got to lose some weight. We went with our good friends, Desi and Troy, a few Sundays ago, and it was a few Sundays ago, we went bike riding, and we rode for 10 miles. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you something, I left about 2 or 3 pounds on that 10 miles. But I the next day I was feeling it in my legs and everything, but I knew then, I was thinking, just be conscious and I got to then again go back to loving myself and think about what we got to do. So again, I always want you to get something out of watching the program. If you are struggling with anything, first of all, know that you're not alone. I don't care what it is. People want to talk about drugs. They want to talk about cigarettes. They want to talk about food. They want to talk about sex. They want to talk about stealing, lying, cheating. People have all kinds of addictions. Yeah. But you got to know that you're not the only one. And what you do is you put yourself in a position where you just start to say, you know what? I accept who I am, what I am, and then start to make a change. And you believe in yourself first. Who won't believe in you if you don't believe in yourself?
Absolutely. And every addiction you talked about, I had.
I had a lot of them.
And so what I do now is I embrace them.
Okay.
I recognize them, and I talk to them. I say, you know what? You're not showing up today.
Come on now.
I said, you're not going to show up
Not today.
Not today. You can come back tomorrow sometime.
And we'll deal with you
then. We'll deal with you then, but not today. And so, Rodney, I laugh a lot at myself. Some of the things I think and some of the things, laughter has been big for me. Because some of the stuff I did to myself, some of the things I had to laugh.
Yeah. Especially when you sit back and think and say, I was doing it. I was doing this. Nobody else. Yep. Don't nobody force you to do much. Right. You have to participate. So and like I said, sometimes things just come in. So I don't prepare to talk about things to get a script or nothing. Mm-hmm. So I have to be real. So as I told you earlier, I suffer from depression a little bit, right? And I say a little bit because I don't claim it to let it overwhelm me, right? But I do. So last night, yesterday, I don't know what was going on. I had a negative feeling all over me. And I was trying to kick it because in my mind I was like, you're not going to be depressed tonight. You're not going to have a bad night. My wife is going to get mad at me because she don't like when I start talking too much about our personal business. You see, she just took a deep breath over there. But my wife had grabbed me to hug me, and I shunned her off. And it was because I had this energy in me that I had to deal with. I had to tell it, not today. Now, you can't control and take me where you want me to go. And so I had to, and what I respected about her, she didn't get mad at me and anything because she knows that I go through these changes. And so I had to hold on. And what I did, when I turned my back, I started praying and started talking to God. And I started telling the depression, you got to go. I'm not letting you take advantage of this situation right now. And so I say that to a lot of people. Dig down deep inside and deal with you.
Right.
I can't get mad at her. But she saw where I was going. She tried to help me. And that's what a lot of people should do too. Reach out. Reach out when you see somebody is doing that. That's what I like about what you do. What you call it? A peer
support specialist.
Peer support specialist. I told you, when it comes to them P's and stuff like that, I can say people to people, power to power, power to people. Can you say that?
Nah.
Okay, because now what I'm doing is I'm trying to make, when I can't say the peer support specialist, I'm just trying to set you up so I can get you in.
And see, with that is, it's training.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be certified.
Yeah.
You got to, take tests and all that type of stuff. And you got to be willing to stay out of your way. Because a lot of times I may think this is the path you should take.
Right.
Because this path worked for me.
Right.
But that path don't work for everybody.
Okay.
So there's all kind of paths to get to where you want to go.
Right.
So it's important to be open-minded about that.
That's good. That's good.
And that's one of the things I had to learn because, and this worked for me, and I get really dogmatic about things that work for me, and it doesn't work in that world.
Angela Hughes, Tapper, she said, "Love you, Harold. You have truly helped me on my journey from the beginning to the present."
I love you too, Andrew. Thank you.
And Harold, let me say this: God is good that He allowed you not to be selfish in your journey. He allowed you to be able to come on this show and talk about the things that you've shared. And I so much appreciate that because even by you doing that, you are helping me peer to peer, right? Because again, like I said, I was going through something last night. I don't come on here and claim to be no savior. I ain't no teacher nor a preacher. I'm just a motivational speaker. And when I say that, let me tell you something. Any one of you can claim that title as a motivational speaker if you are trying to motivate somebody in a positive way using your vocal cords to share your information. And I tell people that. So I don't try to make people think that I live in a perfect life because I'm not.
Right.
I'm struggling. I struggle every day. I know that what they say is one day at a time.
It's one day at a time.
One day at a time. Some days is better than others. Some days it's easy and some days it's rough.
But the struggle is real.
Come on now.
I struggle too. There's, it's like sometimes I try to be everything to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And my struggle is when I can't be everything to everybody, that you're going to dismiss me.
Yeah.
And so people pleasing is huge.
Yeah.
And I may say, man, it's okay, but I really want you to like me. And that's real talk.
Yeah, come on now.
So sometimes I'll do things for you to like me.
Yeah.
Gradually, I have stopped.
Right.
No is a complete sentence, and they say that a lot, but I have embraced that. I go through something, about it, but I have tools, and this is what we're talking about. finding tools how to deal with things that go on in your life. Because everything, I mean, every day I wake up, you know, there's something happening.
Yeah. Something you got to deal with.
Something I got to deal with.
Everybody that joined in, we send peace and blessings to you. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Brown's People, Power to Power, Positive Thinking People. I please ask you to go to YouTube and subscribe. I ask you to go to YouTube and look at some of the other shows that we have had. I also ask that you hit share when you join us. Hit share. This is an opportunity for us to help somebody. You could save somebody's life. This is. I look at every time that I get a person that come and share their story, we are celebrating life.
Yes.
We're celebrating moving forward. We're not being selfish. We're helping others, and we are our brother's keeper.
Absolutely.
We are our sister's keeper. Go ahead, if you would.
We want to welcome Angela Gomez,
Hello,
Hey, how you
Angela.
doing?
Hi,
Hey, baby.
Angela.
Mwah.
Myra Addison Rodney, Kenneth Valentin,
Hey, Kenna.
Maria Price, Lorenzo Garvin, Bernadette Hargrove, Josephine Harris, Angela Hughes Taper, Arnita Wyatt, Don Jarrett, Karen Butler, what's that?
Shepherd.
Dewan Shepherd,
That's my cousin, my family.
Welcome.
Welcome, Dewan. My son, Monte.
Monte, that Mindy Sparkles Whitman, Jacqueline Rogers, and Sugar Britches. So you have some comments as well.
Okay. What's that? Harold is such a kind, gentle, quiet, yet powerful soul and spirit. I appreciate his presence.
Thank you, man.
Just before I read that, let me say this. When you realize that you touch other people like that, what do that do for you?
You know, honestly, sometimes I don't believe I do until I see something, you know,
Yeah.
because I just really, really want to be available for people.
Because you're genuine.
And that's, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to tote or brag about it. I like to be behind the scenes, but you know what, Rodney? That's changed. In the beginning, years and years back, that wasn't the case.
Right.
So God has worked on me a lot of my character defects and issues, and one of the character assets I have now is a quiet spirit. I don't have to boast or brag,
Right.
you know, because I want to do things for people genuine and not talk about it.
Right.
And that's, you know, that was a process.
That is that, and one of the things that again, what I've noticed over the years, and that's just through the media, the times that I've seen your picture or seen you interacting with people has always been positive. You've always been, you know, people always had something good to say about you. And when I read the article that you had put the other day, I was just inspired, and I said, how selfless is this man that he will put that out there. And even though you said you copied that,
Yes.
but it was a something that you were supposed to copy and share, right?
Mhm.
But you did it,
Right.
and when you shared it, you were sharing it from your heart.
Absolutely.
And that's what made me, I was like, man, it was a message from God in that for me.
Because I got that from what we consider ourselves the class of 1990.
Okay.
All those who celebrated 30 years clean and sober. And so I saw that from one of my, you know, folks from the class of 1990. I said, you know what, my anniversary, because that resonated with me,
Okay.
you know. And I was talking to you earlier about the shame and the guilt and the connotation we had,
Right.
you know, and how that just stifles us, you know, and we have to allow and let people know this is who we are, you know. And how could you help somebody if they don't know who you are?
Come on.
You can't help nobody, you know, you can't tell nobody to do this or do that, and a lot of times you haven't done it yourself, you know, or haven't been through that yourself. I live through other people's experiences, you know, and it's like the mouth talks a lot, you know, but your experience means more to me,
Yeah.
you know, and so that has helped me a lot.
Suge, he said, it says, Harold, will you guys ever have community day in GW Field anymore? Seeing everyone in the summer was great. The kids loved it. Of course, after the pandemic.
I would love to do that, but my hands are tied.
Well, let me say, the spirit of that would never die. We have to bring up Lenny, your brother.
Mm-hmm.
That was his pet peeve right there. That was his baby.
Yes.
He would have it where we would meet on that field, and it would never love and joy. People would have a good time. So, to answer your question, I say yes, it's going to happen again, because it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time for us to be put in that position, because what we was doing then was still, it's planting the seed. And it's going to be somebody going to jump out there and they're going to say, you know what, we got to keep this alive. So to answer your question, I'm almost positive that will happen again, because who knows, it might even be me to get out there and try to do that. Let me say this. Me and Lenny had a love-hate relationship. I had to tell people this. People didn't understand this. We used to do production. He'd be doing something one time and I'd do another, and we would sometimes almost do it almost the same time. And we had to make sure that we wasn't doing it on purpose. But we didn't, see, people didn't know that. So they knew Lenny was always doing something I was doing. I was doing showcasing at different places, and sometimes me and Lenny would call each other on the phone. He said, Rodney, come on, man. I know you're not going to do this that day. He said, you know I got something coming up. I said, oh, Lenny, man, I didn't know that. But I said that to say this. One of the things that we did, we always brought the best out of each other.
Yep.
We brought the best out. We made it that we would put our best foot forward. So I said that and I brought that up. Yes, that's not going to die. That's going to live on. And one day we're going to be able to go out there in honor of Lenny and say, what do you call it, Community Day, right? And so we will make that happen.
One love.
One love.
One
yes.
love. Yep.
One love. Yep. And we used to have it. You know what he did? My daughter was just getting into the music business. That was her first live performance on that field.
Yep.
He, I told him, and he told me to make sure that I got it squared away and everything. Her first live performance. He allowed us to get out there to entertain, and we did many things after that. And I sent peace and blessings to his spirit, because he just helped so many people. And that's why, again, we go back to the part where why you are like you are too. Y'all have that in your spirit, in your blood, you know.
You know, when you talk about Lenny, you know, my stomach just sitting over here and just stomach just boiling, right? Because it's not a day go by I don't think about my brother and what, you know. I remember him going knocking on doors, and you know, he knew that a lot of gentrification was happening in the building. You know, people were building around the projects, and there was an opportunity for us as a community to go speak out, just to get a piece of the pie, more than 2 or 3% of the pie.
Yeah.
And most of us chose not to. And I would hear him coming back home, complaining and crying, talking about, man, I can't get these people to come down here and fight. You know, he had sacrificed a lot of his family time, a lot of his family, you know, because he believed so strongly in his community.
Yes.
And that's something I'll never forget. I'll never forget those conversations, you know, the passion that he had. You know, yes, I would love to be able to do a community day, thing, and but sometimes things are out of my control.
Yeah.
Will I support? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the community as a whole has to come together.
Yeah. That was some, and when you were saying that, I can imagine. So one of the things also we must realize is that we must make the change within ourselves. Start at home. Start at home doing what you need to do to make a difference. I want to put it out there. If you would like to call in and ask Harold a few questions, you can dial 301-793-7342. 301-793-7342. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive people. My guest today is Harold Harris from Alexandria, Virginia. This gentleman is he's just a real positive person who always had that spirit about him. He walked in his lane and never holler to step in yours, but always say welcome to come over. And that's the type of person that everybody's seen you to be. And I say thank you, man, that you led that type of life and been around for so many people to be able to feel that comfort around you.
But Rodney, I say thank you. Because when I walked in this house, I felt nothing but love. The fear I had, my stomach was turning, and your beautiful wife greeted me at the door. I was like, I'm safe.
Yeah.
I felt like a little kid sliding the home plate.
Yeah.
Because I was safe.
Yeah.
And I don't know about anybody else, but this is a spiritual world we live in.
Come on, man.
And there are certain spirits that you get around and you automatically know that you're safe.
Yeah. I many times I don't go to bed feeling like a superhero.
Right.
Sometimes I go to bed feeling defeated
Mm-hmm.
because I want to see all of us succeed. I want to see people to come together to show love and respect for one another. Black lives matter.
Mm-hmm.
Black lives matter. It matters so much that right now we have to make those changes that your brother was trying to do then. We talking about, we got other people that's in the community that's been doing that. Michael Johnson, he's one of them. He's still out there. We got so many different people that are moving in the direction to try to make a difference in the community. And what we have to do is start making a difference within yourself. You start with self.
Right.
Start at home. Start looking and believing in yourself that you can achieve anything that you can conceive in your mind. You can achieve it. And that's something that's really important. My co-host Rachel, she always say, Rodney, when I say she always say, she just recently started pressing on. She said, Rodney, make sure that we talk about things that's going to help people find a remedy to their problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be redundant and keep talking about, the same old thing.
Right.
But what I want you to know is that what we want to do is we want to see progress. That was another reason why I wanted you on here. I want people to know, hey, we've been there.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about something we don't know. We're talking about change. We're talking about celebrating life. We're talking about habits that we had. I'm going to get in trouble again. I had a problem. I love females.
Mm-hmm.
I always was, and my wife just rolling her eyes over there because, I'm gonna keep it real. That's how I got you. I saw a beautiful woman walk in and she just stole my heart. But now let me tell you something. Everybody have addiction. See, I used to think. People that. So let me break this down so that I can clarify something. I grew up in a family where there was a lot of females.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all my aunts, every time they came around, they was hugging and kissing on me. I was enjoying that. So every time they was hugging and kissing on me, I was like, I like this.
Mm-hmm.
So as I got older, that was my drive to be accepted. Remember you said something about, you said you had that point where you wanted people to like you.
Mm-hmm.
I was like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I like to dress. I like to stay clean. That was one of my pet peeves of trying to look good all the time. But I wanted to be accepted.
Right.
And then I had a habit, which was a bad habit, thinking that every beautiful woman, I needed to address her.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to go after her. That was a habit for me. And then I started having to break that. So when people talk about addictions, we all have addictions.
Absolutely.
And what I had to do is start to realize, if I want to give, and you something else you said earlier too. I'm remembering. You said if you want respect, you got to give it. Right? So then that's something else I started to have to realize. I have to start giving respect to these females. Give them respect. I got granddaughters. I can't be thinking that I'm going to treat a woman any kind of way as a piece of meat and do these things. But at one time I did.
Right.
And I had to ask God to forgive me. And I had to ask God to say, teach me how to conduct myself. And so, you know something? I don't have no shame. We're going to talk about this on date night. This is my third time, my first marriage. Third time trying, but my first marriage. Now, this is no disrespect to the women that I was with before.
Right.
Because I loved them then, and I still have love for them now. Because they are the mother of my children. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say anything bad about them. What I'll talk about was my problem. You see? And what I had to do is correct my problem. And that's what I'm talking about when people talk about addictions. Everybody have an addiction. It don't mean it's just drugs. I had an addiction. I even got an addiction about shooting pictures. I love pictures. I don't throw away not one picture. I'm a photographer. I have an addiction for them. Sometimes that's good and sometimes bad. You go up to my office and you be looking at my wife and saying, look, you got to get rid of some of this stuff and I just can't get rid of it. But God is good. But I just want you all to know that always take that opportunity to believe in yourself. And don't be afraid to address your problems. Know you're not alone. And if you need help, reach out. Reach out. Another young lady, she was a guest on the show, Randy Wallace. I hope I pronounced her name properly. And one thing that she said, I need people. At first, she said, at one time I didn't think I needed them. But we all need somebody.
That was one of Lenny's favorite lines. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
Come on now.
And I completely believe that.
Yeah.
You know, there was this older gentleman that I remember when I was early in my walk. And he used to say, a person wrapped into himself is a very small package. You know, in other words, so self-centered, so self-absorbed that you don't see nothing else but me. You know, and he was talking about me. So this guy that used to say this, he used to always throw one-liners out there. And man, I wanted to grab this cat, man. I said, man, what are you doing talking about me? You don't even know me. Mm-hmm. You know. So every time I think about stuff like that, I laugh because change happens. You know, and a lot of it is without my permission.
Yeah. Well, that's why I know that God is real. God is in control. Because a lot of things that I think that I'm supposed to do one way, I end up doing another. And so I sit back and I just give God glory. Yeah, what she says, it says, God placed us in our situations in life to show and tell others that they too can rise above, just like Harold so freely does. I love you both. We send peace and blessings to you.
Love you, Margie.
We love you for that.
She's down in North Kakalaki.
North Kakalaki, that's what I'm talking about. Gerald, Lenny Harris, man, I love that dude. His legacy still lives, and I'm happy to know that he has a brother after his own heart.
Thank you, Gerald.
Yes, that's cool. One love, it can happen. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do it, Mike.
We can do that. We can do that. Let's see. Hey, okay. And Liz, she said, hey man, hey Harold, I'm so proud of you, my friend.
Thanks, Pauline.
You know, taking the time to acknowledge the celebration of life is a good thing. Listen, the media. The media plays a big factor on how we go about things. All the time making us look like we are negative people, that we don't see nothing positive. We wake up in the morning and forget. Go back because I saw that it says, wait a minute. No, it might say something about the one love.
You can't go down. Yeah.
No, go back. Yes, one love, it can happen. Let's make it happen. I wanted to think about that. Use the word one love. We have to have that one love. The love like God has, the agape love. Agape love is that free love, that love that has no restraints, you know. And what we have to do is stop letting the media put in our head that we're these negative people, that we don't have no future, that we don't care about our neighbors, and that we are lost in the sauce, you know, and have no room for tomorrow. We are not like that. I got to the point now, as soon as I be watching the news, I watch for the weather. And sometimes I don't pay attention to that because they be wrong on that too. So I just look outside and watch the birds. If you see the birds flying a lot of birds going in a different direction, let me tell you something. That means they're flying away from a storm. So sometimes you just got to sit back and you got to deal with the truth of reality. Would you say don't live in the past? We deal with today and we take one day at a time.
Absolutely. And
you get your focus and you start to change that negative thinking in your mind. Would I say people to people, power to power, power to people, people to people, that's me, you, and them. Power to power, the power we possess, power they possess. But when we get that positive power, we become positive thinking people.
Now, Rodney, I wanted to go back to what you was talking about, Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
You know, when I first started, I heard about the movement a long time ago, and people didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. But what I saw the younger people and the different races, you know, and people coming together.
Come on.
And that did something to my heart.
Yeah.
You know, it was like somebody finally gonna hear us.
Yeah.
And it took that type of energy, and it's still taking that type of energy.
Yeah.
Even though the media shows, you know, a negative side to it, that spirit is out there.
Yeah.
You know.
And we gotta keep it alive.
I can feel it in my job.
Yeah.
We're having meetings around it.
Yeah.
You know, and so this is the beginning.
It is a new beginning.
A new beginning.
Right. We're not talking about something that in the past.
Right.
We talking about, again, what we talking about our title, the topic today, Celebration of Life. We celebrating Black Lives Matter. We talking about a new time where white America is hearing us. They're seeing us and they understand it. We've struggled in so many. I'm not saying white people haven't struggled too.
Right.
They got their own demons.
Right.
We all have them. But we're talking about from our perspective. So when we go to that, it's such a lovely thing to see people are finally recognizing that we had all this police brutality going on against black males and females as well.
Right.
I mean, treating us like we were animals. And you don't even supposed to treat animals like that because we're all God's creation. We have to get to a point where we have that, I'm going to keep saying it, that one love.
Right.
That's in my heart right now. I got to say that one love. We got to keep that alive. So he says, hey Harold, I am so proud of you, my friend.
Love you, Pauline.
Yeah, okay. And okay. Giving and caring is an awesome spirit. Isn't God great? The wonderful work in you reveals the growth, making it all worth it. Our experience molds us. I am a believer also. It will happen. I hope Harold is on the forefront. Thank you for your testimony. Lenny is always my family. Night and day. Harold, true.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And let me tell you, God is good. It says, Rodney, keep it real. Keep it real, Rodney. Okay. I'm telling you, I can't wait to get these new glasses because y'all gonna see a big difference. Because if I take these joints off, I'm gonna tell you my glasses is falling apart, and I'm sitting here. Actually, this is funny. So when I take my glasses off, it goes totally blurry. And then when I put them on, I got a tilt. And the doctor the other day, he was showing me something. So one of my, you know, your eyes are, they different.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for me, I'm trying not to do it too much because I kind of got to angle it like this and I can see it. But anyway, I'm making these excuses because y'all don't see me over here and I'm going through y'all might see me in these different positions and I'm cutting. That's because in a couple more weeks I can show you. Y'all gonna see the new glasses I got too. I'm gonna be showing off too. I'm gonna put on a nice little fresh shirt and sit up here and be like, give me a fresh cut and I'm gonna show them off. But let's keep going here. What we got? Watching from Lawton, Virginia. Hey, we welcome you. Gloria said, hey, Harold.
Hey, Gloria.
Pauline. Go ahead.
You know, another thing I wanted to add to the Black Lives Matter, you know, because there's a flip side to it.
Go ahead.
And it's our lives that matter.
Yeah.
And when I see us killing us,
Okay.
that deadens my spirit too. You know, first when I was, you know, when the Black Lives Matter movement happened, I was, you know, I was liking what I saw, but I still was thinking about my brother because another brother killed him.
Yeah.
So I was struggling
With that.
for a minute. But I knew, you know, it wasn't about me. You know, it was about systemic racism that goes on throughout. You know, had nothing. You know, it was about the police. You know, stepping on our throat, about the police abusing us. But it's deeper than that. You know, and I think about the guy that reminds me of my dad. And I've been crying the last couple of days as watching Congressman John Lewis. This man, you know, the epitome of somebody that was selfless. They could put selfless behind his name, you know. And I always, you know, and it's one of the things I do a lot, I always embrace my predecessors and embrace people that come before me. You know, my ancestors, that type of thing. That means a lot to me. You know, the past means a lot to me and what they've gone through for us. You know, that's why I go out and vote. You know.
And I'm glad you said that. We are also, it's important that we take the time to go out and vote. You have to do that. We have to make a difference.
Yeah.
But Harold, you see, I try not to. I respect everybody as we sit here and we share information and conversation. So when you brought up about the violence and how your brother died, we got to, as a people, we got to start talking to our children at home. See, you start to tell them while they're young, to let them know to show love and respect for one another. It is not good for another black man to go out there and take another man's life, whether he's black or white. But it's really seriously bad when it's our own people in our own community. You know, that we do the damage to ourselves. Hey, let me tell you something. White people kill white people too.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So when we talk, don't think that we're talking in a racial metaphor that we're just thinking about, oh, black people are the people that kill people. That's not what it is. But what we're saying is we're dealing with the truth. We do it with the truth of reality in our own community, that we need to start to address these things and making a difference where we are raising our children to understand that it's not making you a superhero to kill somebody. Now, if you don't mind, he was one of my best friends, Roscoe. Okay, Roscoe Ellison, killed by another black guy, and it was senseless. We're talking about a lot of people. We can call out lots of names in Alexandria that we have young guys that didn't reach 30 and 40 years old that was killed.
Okay, hold on.
And so
Hold on, okay.
it's senseless death that we got to change, and we got to start talking to our young guys mainly and let them know you don't have to prove yourself by taking another person's life. If you really want to prove that you're a powerful individual, do what you do. Get out there and save something.
That's
Get out there and change the way people are thinking and they're going about things. Have people to be able to believe in themselves, that they will be able to move forward, you know, with positive energy, and be put in a position where they're going to be saying, you know what, I can do this.
Absolutely.
You know, so, you know, if it's a young guy out there that you know that's struggling in the community, he has a gun, he's selling drugs, don't be afraid to talk to him. You let them know. You know, you need to let them know that you care. You know, one of the things I used to approach people and ask them, did anybody tell you they love you today? A lot of times I'm asking that. But they call me Pops. And they say, Pops, what'd you say? I said, did anybody tell you they love you today? And they say, no. I said, well, I do. And then what they would do is they say it back to me the next time they see me. And all he's doing is we started to change something. I see that I got my co-host, Miss Rachel Pope, has joined us. How you doing, Rachel? Hold on a second. We hold on. She talking.
Yeah, she talking.
Rachel? Okay, hold on. There you go. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. I told you we don't practice nothing up in here. If the camera fall over, guess what? It happens. I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes we'll spill a drink. I be spilling stuff on my hand. It is what it is. It's Real Talk. We don't practice nothing. My guest today is Harold Harris. Harold came in. He was nervous a little bit, and Harold didn't practice nothing he was going to talk about today. He's keeping it real, and that's what we doing. Hey, Rachel, how you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 1, 2.
We got you.
We got you, Rachel.
We got you.
Look. Hey, cousin Harold, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I call you cousin because my grandmother, their name was Harris.
See, your grandmother, your grandmother